Good afternoon. I am Tony Dattino. I am the founder of the USA Memory Championship and also the president of Dattino Consulting Group. And as I've been doing more and more of these live with Tony broadcasts on Facebook and thinking about the various topics that we cover on those, it's occurring to me more and more that our maximum memory mastery, M3 as we call it, online course has got so much more in it than just how do you improve your memory. So I've been covering a variety of different topics, and I just, through working on this for over 25 years and hosting 21 USA Memory Championships, it just brings me to something I learned a number of years ago when a student in high school, during a keynote that I was doing, asked me the question, or I asked the audience the question, including teachers, when do we use our memories? And a young boy, you can answer that, when do you use your memory? And a young man got up and asked the question, Mr. Dattino, is that a trick question? And I said, no, it's a serious question. It's a real question. And he looked and he says, why, in everything we do, it comes about all day long. We use it from when we get up in the morning to where we're going to classes, to what we need to learn. And so I asked the next question, which was, and when have we learned how to use our memories? So when were you taught how your memory works and what the skills are and how you might be able to improve it? And the teacher yelled from the back of the room, we don't teach that. Which then brought me to the next question that all of you can think about as you listen to the Live with Tony. Does it make any sense that something we use all day long and something that we worry about and build anxiety and phobias about in terms of dementias and Alzheimer's and different losing our memories, we've never learned how to improve it. We've never learned, are there skills that actually can make a difference in our own abilities and memory? And so after watching mental athletes compete in the USA Memory Championship and see the differences it's made in their lives. So I think about Nelson Dellis and Chester Santos and Ronnie White and Lance Turcotte and John Graham and Tatiana Cooley and Scott Hagwood. I think of all these different people that have competed and the changes that it's made in their lives. It just boggles my mind that we aren't focused more on what are the things we can learn to improve our own mental capacities. How can we learn to get smarter? Are there things that we can learn to do that, or are we just fixed by the genes? So in the last couple of broadcasts, I was like, how do they count, who's counting happy genes and who's counting genes and deciding as we age and get throughout whatever periods of year, we box people into these compartments and we put them into these silos, and it just drives me nuts. And it drives me nuts because of my experience now over 25 years of seeing the differences that you can make in people's lives by teaching them things that they never thought they could do. Now, how does this then broaden into my topics? And the point I want to make is, so as I've learned this, and I read different articles in these different newsletters, and so I think about this, I guess after 25 years, you tend to have a different perspective. You have a different filter that you listen and read things through. I go back to this UCLA Healthy Years newsletter from August of 2020. And though it's trying to help adults live happier and healthier lives, this is a lesson that everybody should know. And it's the lesson in the practice of forgiveness. And what does forgiveness have to do with memories? It's really simple for me. What are life experiences, another word for memories, and how you've encoded life experiences so that they sometimes stay in the forebrain and they're like present as you're going about your day, or there's something that triggers it from something you see, hear, read, music, or somebody that called you, a conversation that may trigger a memory of some prior experience. So what are some of the memories that have kind of hurt us and scarred us in some level that we'd really love to forget, but we hang on to them, and we get frustrated because there are some memories that we would just love to forget. I've had a number of conversations with this scientist over post-traumatic stress and how can you help people minimize the impacts of that and help them forget some of the real emotional hurts that they've gone through. My own experience, whenever I see a heavy rainstorm or winds that are blowing our trees. In fact, the delay of my broadcast today, we were having one heck of a rainstorm here at 3 inches an hour of rain, and it was like lightning and thunder and wind blowing against the windows, and wow, I'm not going to be with you doing my broadcast as I'm waiting for this storm to go by. It's gone. I'm on the broadcast. But it brought me back to a memory of an experience I had in New York at the time. I was living up in Larchmont, New York, and bam, comes Hurricane Sandy, which we left Florida, which is where my residence is in Orlando, Florida, Windermere, Florida, to go to New York to avoid Hurricane Sandy. And wouldn't you know it, those hurricanes just don't do what you always want them to do. It comes up onto the East Coast and hits the Long Island Sound. And the next thing we have is a huge 100-year-old oak tree, bigger than I could put my arms around, comes crashing through half of the house. And so when I see storms and trees shaking, and the first thing I'm looking at is there any trees likely to come falling over our house? Now we're in Windermere, Florida. We've got some tall pine trees in the back of our residence here. But it triggers memories of what that experience was like. I can almost hear the sound and the ripping of the siding on the house and the crashing down through, cutting our house in half at that time. Fortunately, we were down on the lower level and we were safe because that tree stopped in the middle of our bedroom. Emotional experiences that caused a level of intensity. It took me a while to deal with that. So what does this have to do with forgiveness? Forgiveness is an act to heal your heart that can lead to better physical and psychological well-being. So it's an act of healing. And we use our heart as a way of emotion that leads to better physical and psychological well-being. Forgiveness is a conscious, deliberate action. So now we're going to bring it into a skill, right? Can we forgive? It's a skill. It's a conscious act of releasing feelings of resentment or vengeance to a person or group that has harmed you, and releasing the pain that we carry for those actions that we have within ourselves. So when I say to people, do you understand that the act of forgiveness is an act of you being able to live a more healthy and mentally fit life? And that here's a case where memories, things that you've encoded and you've buried inside your memories in this arena, are not helping you if they're causing you a vengeance, or they're causing you a resentment, if they're causing you a stress that you have to learn and can be taught to give away and let out. It's what I tell my kids and my grandkids. If somebody's offended you and they've caused you a pain, figure out how to go back to that person, have those conversations, and let that go. Let it out. Don't hold on to it anymore. Because if we've learned about memories and our well-being as we hold those, we hold that pain. We hold those feelings inside our body. And what do we know about holding that pain inside our body? Blood pressure, immunity system breakdowns, illnesses that can come up and grab you as well. And so not only did that person upset you in the moment of upset, in that moment of anger and ire, but the longer you hold on to it, they stay with you in your memory bank and just keep hitting you and gnawing away at you. And they just keep gnawing at you a piece at a time. So not only did they get you at the point of origin, but they get you every single day that you hold on to that. And so here comes UCLA coming along in their healthy years to say, my goodness, if forgiveness does not come quickly, it does not excuse or justify an action. It doesn't give somebody what I call free lunch, but it's what I call, it comes a moment of repentance. Is the person that's harmed or injured or caused you this grief, have they repented for it? Have they apologized in a way that's sincere and real? It does not excuse the perpetrator. When you are injured, there is a suffering. You may have anger, hostility, and it triggers stress hormones. So now you're paying for it with hormones that are not good, which raises your blood pressure. It negativity impacts the immune system and builds anxiety and depression. So my session for today was, how do you become aware of those things that you're holding on to that cause you tension and stress in some parts of your body? And how can you begin to learn how to let those go and let those get out of your memories as learning experiences in maturing to the wisdom of life? And if you can do that, you're doing your own mental and physical well-being a joint favor, and you're helping learn that which you want to remember and encode, and that which you want to learn to cast off. That is my lesson for Thursday. If I can make a difference in anyone's life, I'd love to hear about it. Send me a notation on Facebook. I'm learning. I'm improving my skills even at my age and getting better at it. So I'm learning how to do notations. I just haven't learned how to send notes back to people, but I'm getting better. And I'm getting some additional work that my team is helping me learn more about how to use social media. So have a good afternoon, evening. It's Thursday. This is my 3 that was a little bit late in getting on. I'm back on Saturday in the 3 o'clock hour. I take Fridays off, do 4 days a week, and then one on Saturday. And I'm looking at, we're putting more things on YouTube and Twitter. So we're getting out there to more people because we got a message we want everybody to hear. We'll see you on Saturday.